Hey, what is up everyone? In this video we're talking about the brand new Monkey Island Tall Tale that just released. So we got the first part of 3 parts of this new Monkey Island story that's going on in Sea of Thieves. And the first part I have some mixed feelings about, so let's go ahead and get into it. So part 1 of Monkey Island Tall Tale takes you to Mêlée Island. And originally I thought we were going to get to see all of Mêlée Island, but in this one it's really just like the city, lookout point, and like the dock. Oh, and Guybrush's mansion. And that's really it. And I'm not like disappointed in the sense of what we got there. All of it was really great, especially the scrum bar, which you can see I'm sitting in right now. But it is a little bit disappointing that you can't just explore the rest of the island. And we're told that we'll be able to explore the rest of it in the next Tall Tale. But then it kind of just makes me wonder, okay, what's the next Tall Tale going to be if we're just going to be on the same island? I'm hoping that the final Tall Tale takes us to Monkey Island itself, but I'm not sure at this point. So that's one of the negatives I have with this, but let's talk about what specifically that we did in this Tall Tale. And I think this Tall Tale was one of my favorites. It might not be my top favorite, but it's definitely up there in like the top 3. I think one of the best parts about this Tall Tale was that while the puzzles could be a little bit tricky, it took some time to figure out some of the parts. In general, we were able to figure out the entire thing without needing to look at any guides or references or anything like that. And I feel like sometimes in Sea of Thieves, you have to like look up like a guide online or something just to figure out what you're supposed to do next, because it's not that clear. Whereas this one, everything really flowed together nicely. Another aspect of this was all of the characters had voice dialogue, which is phenomenal, because I really get sick and tired in Sea of Thieves when all the characters just have like text dialogue that pops up on screen, because it just makes the world feel less real in a sense. This feels like a really lived in world where you can go around, you can talk to people and they talk back, and it's not just like the main dialogue, it's like all the little sub dialogues that you can reach out to across all the characters. And they hyped this up in like the trailers and stuff that they talked about the new Monkey Island update, that this was going to be a feature. Except they didn't go all the way with it, and that's one of the other criticisms I have, is that it's really cool, all these characters you can go up and talk to and they talk back with voice dialogue and everything. But then the one character at all the outposts that you start the Tall Tale with, she won't talk to you unless you're doing the Tall Tale. If you go up and ask her any of her dialogues, it's just text. And it just seems like you were so close to getting all of them and making this like perfect, but you didn't. Why? That's a bit disappointing to me, but I can kind of overlook that just because the Tall Tale itself is phenomenal on its own. I really enjoyed the puzzles that we did. I thought it was a lot of fun. You having to get the crate underwater and lift the crane up. It took us a little bit of time to figure out how to actually use that crane. I didn't realize that there was another rope that was like on the bottom of the building, so that was interesting to try to figure out. But there was other really cool stuff, like getting the chef's outfit or watching the enemy guard guy messing with the poodles. I thought that was a pretty funny scene. And then the jailbreak scene was a lot of fun as well, with the guy and the coconut. I think the biggest standout of this Tall Tale is just all the characters that you meet along the way. They all are very unique. They all have like fun personalities. And I just find it way more interesting to talk to these characters than I have in any other Tall Tale or just anywhere in Sea of Thieves, honestly. I thought the story flowed well together. I think it was a decent length for it, at least when we did it the first time. If you wanted to, you could speed run through the whole thing. But honestly, if you just like were to go for your first time, it is a decent length for a Tall Tale. As well as they have checkpoints, which is always nice. Another disappointment I had with this Tall Tale is if you go out and you're talking to this guy out here, he has basically like this little shop where you can buy these different items. And these two on the side are the rewards you get for completing the Tall Tale. And so it kind of made me think, oh, maybe all of these are things that we could have as cosmetics on our ship. But that's not the case. So I think it would have been really easy for them to make it so that when you buy this like monkey toy or this history book, those could be trinkets. Like, look, it's even got like a stand and everything. They could have been trinkets that go on your ship after the Tall Tale's done, after you've like bought them in the game. And I was really excited for that, and I was hoping that was going to be a thing, and it's not, which kind of makes me disappointed for other stuff that's coming forward, because one of the things I thought was going to be cool with these Tall Tales was that perhaps that they have like their own little shops in these Tall Tale like worlds that you could have bought stuff from, because we saw in the trailer like that they were selling obsidian items at, and I guess one of the Tall Tales, maybe it'd be the second one or it could be the third one because it wasn't in this one. I thought that maybe we'd be able to like buy some of those like, they looked like reskin obsidian items. I don't know if they're exactly obsidian items, but now I'm guessing that we're not going to be able to purchase them, at least for like permanent use. So that's a bit disappointing to me. I think it would have been a really easy addition that like when you buy the monkey toy to give to the dog, that just unlocks as a trinket on your ship, as well as like the history book. Because they already have like the model here, all they really need to do is just make it so that it can mount onto the ship. Because I don't really think there'd be much else that they'd have to do differently. The history book might be a little bit big if you do this whole stand and everything, but that could probably be shrunk down just a little bit. And I think it would have been really easy to add. It would have just been a nice little addition. I don't want to sound too critical of this Tall Tale because I really do enjoy it a lot, and I think especially just like the atmosphere of it and like the lighting with the moon back there and just how like light reflects on all the surfaces. These characters especially are really cool. There's so much interesting stuff with this Tall Tale, and like all the little puzzles I thought were a lot of fun, like messing with the clock tower and just all of that. So I don't want to sound like I didn't like this Tall Tale. I really did. I just feel like there's like these little things that could have made it so much better, and it's just kind of disappointing that it was so close to being perfect. If you had just done a few more things with, say, like making those items that are at that shop actually purchasable for like, as trinkets or whatever for your ship, having the character on the outpost actually talk just like all the other characters, and being able to explore all of Mêlée Island. Now, I'm not saying that all of Mêlée Island had to be interesting and stuff. Like, I know there's going to be like a circus tent that we saw in the trailers and stuff that's on Mêlée Island. You could have made it so that those like didn't have anything to do until the second Tall Tale, and I guess that would have been fine. But I don't know, it's just kind of disappointing to me that like you literally can't explore it. I do get it from a story reason. I think the way that it's set up in the story is that all of Mêlée Island that we're seeing here is not actually real. It's just what Guybrush remembers from his like memories and stuff. So right now he's locked inside the mansion, and he's not really like remembering the rest of Mêlée Island. He's only remembering like this little bit of the town and his mansion and stuff. So I can get behind that part. I do think the storyline that they're setting up with this Tall Tale is a bit weak. I do like that it had the connection with the previous adventure, so it is kind of woven in with the Sea of Thieves world. It's not just like this side thing that has no effect on anything else. I think if you compare it to, say, like the Pirate's Life Tall Tales, those ones, the story made a lot more sense to me. But this one is a little bit more confusing to me. It's like somehow this island is like made up from his memories, but somehow like a made up version of LeChuck is like controlling him and keeping him here somehow. I don't know how that happens, because it doesn't really make sense. If Guybrush is the one controlling the whole thing, he could literally just like poof LeChuck out of existence. If you think about it, it's like basically like a dream. But then there's other weird stuff, like if we are inside the scrum bar, one of the weird things to me that doesn't make sense with the story is that we have the cursed captain here from the Pirate's Life Tall Tales, and he remembers us, but how could he remember us if it's Guybrush's memories? They say that I think Guybrush went to the same island that the cursed captain was, but that was before any of the Pirate's Life Tall Tale stuff happened, so he wouldn't remember us at all. So it just doesn't make sense story-wise. I like seeing the cursed captain here. I think that was fun, but it kind of takes me out of the story a bit if like their own logic doesn't make sense. So that's a little bit annoying to me. To wrap up my thoughts, I think in general this first Tall Tale, The Journey to Mêlée Island, is a really good Tall Tale. There's some little things I think could have done to make it a lot better and make it more, maybe probably one of the best ones, to be honest. But it fell apart in a few areas. But I think the environment that they made is really awesome. This island is one of the most intricate and detailed islands that they've done in all of Sea of Thieves. That's really exciting to me. I think in terms of the quality that they've done, like the amount of effort they put into this tall tale, and I'm assuming the rest of these tall tales, is like far above what we've seen before, even with like the Pirates of the Caribbean tall tales that we saw added only a few years ago. And those ones at the time we thought were amazing as well. So I'm very interested to see what the next part, the part 2 and 3 of this Monkey Island story, how that plays out. I'm really hoping that the third tall tale takes us to actual Monkey Island, because it seems like the part 1 and 2 are set on Mêlée Island. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm really excited for it. But that covers my thoughts on this first tall tale. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments below. What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? Was there room for improvement? Is it the best one? Just let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you hit the like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.